Hello and welcome to the Beneath the Mask podcast. As always, I'm your host, xenos, and join with
I'm
me.
his gracious sidekick, Jesh TV.
You're a minion at best, let's be honest.
I am the world's greatest sidekick, and you know it.
Okay, well, what are we talking about today, Josh?
We're gonna be talking about the early 2000s, the best time in human history, folks.
Is it?
The golden age of humanity.
Is it really?
Yes, from the year 2000 to the year 2012.
I don't think that's how that works, but alright.
That is exactly how that works, because after that, everything fell apart.
After 2012?
Yeah, it was specifically after 2012.
Ah. Okay.
Anyway, so to start off, let us talk about the aesthetics of the early 2000s, my children.
You know what the word aesthetic means?
Yes, I know what the word aesthetics mean.
Do you? What does it mean?
So, like, when you think of the 80s,
Uh-huh.
you automatically almost think of the synth waves or classic rock,
I don't.
or some variation on the Terminator movies.
I don't.
Then what do you think of?
Afros and disco balls.
That was the 70s, you idiot.
Okay, well, that shows you how much I know of it. Okay. Was it the 70s? I feel like that was still a thing in the 80s, wasn't it? Maybe not as big.
They weren't as big, but the golden age of that was the 60s and 70s. The late 60s, mid to mid 70s.
Okay. Boogie woogie.
Okay, so let us talk about what I think of when I see the early 2000s, and then we're going to transition to what Soul thinks of
Uh-huh.
when we think of the early 2000s, man.
When you say early 2000s, this is like before 2005? Because that's...
I mean, as a whole, but for this, we're going to go specifically up to 2005, 2003.
Okay.
Because the way I see the early 2000s, there are three distinct phases.
Uh-huh.
There's up to 2005, where we're trying to shake off the 90s stigma. 2005 to 2008, where everything was unnervingly edgy. But, like,
Okay.
in 2005, it was the edgiest it's ever been, and
Was
it
it?
slowly died down throughout 2008. And then there was the future, which is 2009 through 2012.
I don't think that's how 2000s work, but sure.
Well, how do you think they work?
Well, it starts at year 2000 and ends at 2010. I mean, I guess it's still technically the 2000s, but then it'd be like the 2010s and how they do it.
No, but I'm saying with those three distinct phases, that's
So
what
you're
I
saying
think of.
not exactly the year, but these are like distinctive errors that should basically be counted as the same, but like different parts.
They're all three the same error, just different arcs of the story of the early 2000s.
Okay, so what you think of early 2000s?
Okay, so for the first act of our story, we have an entire generation trying to shake off the stigma of the 90s, realizing, yeah, everything was kind of ridiculous.
What's the stigma of the 90s?
You know, hip-hop, really oppressive drug PSAs, and gangster rap.
This is your brain on drugs.
And, of course, late-night Nickelodeon TV, of course.
Only 90s kids will remember these.
Only 90s kids will remember when those were all a thing.
Yeah.
Because the 90s kids can never forget anything.
Me.
They're stuck in a never-ending cycle where they never experience anything, but never forget anything.
Me,
The 90s kids
1999.
have always been around. They will always remember.
I am the
They
bridge
whisper
between the
kisses.
worlds. Me, a 1999 kid.
1999 kids, let's be honest, they're the people who are like, you are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
Yeah, okay, I never understood only 90s kids remember because they reran those shows constantly.
Yeah, like, neither do I, because most of the things that's like, oh, only 90s kids will remember, as a kid who, 2000s, went to school with most of this, was still something I experienced on a daily basis. Like the projectors and stuff, I was right there, and I experienced that stuff, but no, I don't remember because I'm not a 90s kid.
projector? Talking about the Prometheus boards?
I'm talking the things where they would like turn the lights off, put like a piece of paper down on a.
Actual projectors. I just know some people call Prometheus board projectors. Okay, what was we talking about before your internet had a stroke?
Okay, before my internet had a stroke, we were talking about projectors, and I'm like, I constantly hear from my brother and sister that, oh yes, this was a specifically 90s thing, and only 90s kids can ever remember this.
No.
But I remember this.
They had projectors in middle school. Like, even in high school, they had projectors.
Okay, I never saw them in use during middle school or high school, but I constantly saw them in elementary school.
We went to the same middle school and high school, though. How'd you not see them?
Basically, I saw them, they just weren't in use. If that makes any sense. I might have had, at most, one teacher use them.
Do you remember, do you remember in middle school, we were like... It wasn't every class, but it felt like it, where the teacher would have to, like, do calibration on the Prometheus board.
Oh yeah, that was like every time. It's like, oh god, they can never fix this thing, and it's like, ugh.
I never understood why you had to calibrate it that much.
Because Prometheus boards were kind of new. They were terrible first iterations of the... Basically,
they were really big
they were trying
tablets.
to evolve from the smart board.
They're really big drawing tablets. They're really big drawing tablets is what they are.
Yeah, that, like, for real, that is what they are.
I don't actually have a drawing tablet with a screen. I mean,
I suppose it could be useful. But anyway, before we get off on a tangent that has nothing to do with the early 2000s and more with the 2010s, my take on the aesthetics of the early 2000s was there was 2000 to 2005 where we attempted to get rid of as much of the 90s as we could. And then there was 2005 where we gave a hedgehog a gun, guys. We're sorry. We might have taken this edge thing just a little too far.
Was that 2005?
That was 2005, baby.
So Sonic, no, not Sonic, Shadow came out before Sonic 06?
Okay, Google. When did Shadow the Hedgehog come out?
Shadow the Hedgehog's initial release date is November 15th, 2005.
Oh.
November 15th, 2005.
When did Shadow the Hedgehog come out of the closet?
2003.
Ah, yeah. Everyone knows that.
Simple. Easy to understand. Anyway, so that happens up to 2008. We just make everything as edgy as possible. Then 2009 through 2012 happens, and it's like, it's time to embrace the future, old man! Your time is now!
Yeah.
And that is my recollection and take on the early 2000s. How about yourself?
Okay, early 2000s, which is before 2005, I guess. Or at 2005, at least. I would be 6 years old. Not good, actually. If I was 6 years old, 2005, probably not the worst, but I would at least put it in my like, top 5 worst eras of my life. Because, like, I don't remember a lot. I remember I broke my arm when I was 6. My grandfather died when I was 6. And I had my dad had just one split custody of me. So, well, I guess that was good, but like not a lot of good things happened when I was that age. Bullied in school. Yeah. So, I mean, I
was constantly bullied in school, but I turned out fine. Ish.
Sure. I mean, didn't turn into a sociopath like me, so...
Are you sure, though? Because I can fit into society fairly fine with my violent tendencies.
Don't play this game with me, Josh, you'll lose.
Welcome to JoJo's Part 2, Violent Tendencies.
I still don't understand what you mean by aesthetic,
Like, when you think of the early 2000s, what do you think of?
Despair.
So basically, the entire time was Edgelord of Terror.
I wasn't actually... Okay, I don't consider myself edgy. You say that a lot. I think I was in middle school, but I was actually, despite everything happy, I was basically you. Before you got a little bit of that xenos brood in you. I was basically you. I basically smiled and I was a crybaby. I was a pretty normal but dumb kid.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, did you have a thing where, like, didn't hear anything I was saying? Because you were doing that earlier.
Not a word of it.
Oh. You were doing the same thing earlier. What was the last thing you heard?
You were trying to convince me that despite everything that happened to you in the beginning of the early 2000s, you are not a massive edgelord.
I don't think I am now. I was in middle school, and I wasn't before middle school.
Okay, well, would you like to know what most people think of the early 2000s?
What?
When most people think of the early 2000s, they think of street racing.
I was like, was that a thing?
Yeah, street racing and
When did Tokyo
club music.
When did
That is what
Tokyo
most
Drift
people
come
think
out?
of.
When Tokyo Drift come out?
I believe it was 2003. But let us fact check with our co-star. Hey Google,
Oh no.
when did Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift release?
No, you said you called them a different name every episode. In episode 3. This
Summary from the website en.wikipedia.org.
Google was now named.
Tokyo Drift was released in the United
Poodle.
States on June 16, 2006.
I was gonna say Fugle.
Film grossed $159 million.
What is it, a
worldwide.
Foo
It was the
Fighter?
lowest grossing
Yes. Okay, I was talking over it. When did it release?
2006, which
Huh.
is weird to me.
Is it weird that that's the only Fast and Furious movie that I liked?
I mean, it's the only one that I've seen any part of, and it's apparently the
Yeah.
worst one.
Same. Was street racing a 2000 thing? It seems like a 90s thing.
I mean, it started in the 90s, but it was really big in the early 2000s. Or at least...
My dad would tell me a story when I was a baby and he still had the Mitsubishi 3000 working. He would, like, there was a time that he went on a street race and I was in the passenger seat for it.
You got to let me know.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we have covered the aesthetics of the early 2000s and are ingrained in that time, let us take a step back
Uh-huh.
to look at the absolute bops that the early 2000s gave us. Such as the best genre to ever grace a stereo, punk rock.
Was 3 Days Grace early 2000s?
Yes.
3 Doors Down?
Yes.
Green Day?
Yep.
All American Rejects?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically everything I listened to in middle school.
Yeah, so basically all of the good emo music,
Mm.
early 2000s, my man. But it's not just punk rock and other emo music. No. They had pop songs, and a lot of them.
A lot of Taylor Swift, I think.
I mean, yeah, but we don't talk about that because this is supposed to be a good and uplifting video, so we're ignoring the bad parts of the early 2000s. To basically anything that has to do with Taylor Swift.
Bruno Mars, right?
Shaggy, my dude.
Shaggy?
It wasn't me.
What?
Maroon 5.
Okay, Maroon 5.
I live in Missouri.
That's Harder to Breathe, my favorite Maroon 5, but yeah.
Okay, but what about Sean Kingston with Your Way to Beautiful Girls?
I don't know.
Come on, it has the same opener as Stand By Me.
Which is...
Do, do, da, do, 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 do.
I mean, what's the lyrics of...
This.
You just had that ready, didn't you?
Yes, I'm currently looking at my early 2000s playlist. Perhaps Jumper by 3 Eye Blind.
Shawty like a melody in my head.
My head that I can't keep go. Got me singing like na every day like an iPod stuck on replay.
Okay.
Holla Batgirl, my guy.
Ain't no. Yeah. Toxic also came, I think, right?
For God's sakes, I still use Britney Spears songs to pass spelling tests. I still use Holla Batgirl to spell bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Was NSYNC early 2000s or is that 90s?
That is like 90s into the early 2000s, I think, is when their band finally fell apart and died. But
It's gonna be May.
It's always gonna be May, but it's never quite May. But we have to talk now about Screamo music.
Wait. Was Sexy back early 2000s?
Yes!
Actually, there was a lot of music in the early 2000s. Let's see why you're talking about this.
Yeah, like, it's a lot of good bops. It's my favorite era as far as music goes.
It just kind of all blends together for me.
Okay, and this is something that we're not going to go too in detail in, but the rise of Screamo music, my guy.
I've never liked Screamo music.
I, myself, personally love Screamo music. It is an incredible genre, and we need more of it, dang it. And it started in the early 2000s.
Fuck Screamo.
Okay, I wasn't able to listen to Screamo music in the early 2000s, as the older two really didn't like it.
Black Veil Brides looking motherfucker.
They were also early 2000s. How dare you do that?
See, okay, are you talking about actual Screamo? Or are you doing the thing where you confuse metal with Screamo?
Talking actual Screamo music.
Okay, give me an
That's why I'm not going too into detail in it, because I don't have a specific song to point out. It's just...
Because there are no good Screamo songs? It
started in the late 2000s.
Because there are no good Screamo songs?
There are good Screamo songs.
There's not. Screamo sucks.
I will stab you.
Do it. It still won't change facts.
Soul Xenos, I will go to your house and I will strangle you.
Fucking do it. It's still not going to change the way the universe runs.
I will strangle you whilst listening to that one song where those guys scream on top of the mountain about how they have no escape.
That's a lot of songs.
Exactly. Moving on.
Well, no, it really matters which song it is.
Moving on, we're going to LimeWire.
What's that?
Okay, so back in the day, LimeWire was a service that people used to illegally download music.
Like Napster?
Yeah, except this is before Napster.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first one of its kind.
I used MP3 Gorilla back in the day.
I'm gonna be honest. I never used the LimeWire because, number one, you could get a virus way too easily, and worm. Number two, I was too young to understand what a music downloader was. Wow,
this file seems to be a weird size for this song. I guess I better download it.
Yeah, wow. This file named Sexy Back is oddly enough Afro Man's Because I Got High. But yeah, that would happen a lot because it was peer-to-peer. So basically, you could upload something, title it whatever you want, and because they had no quality control...
It's like YouTube.
Yes, except YouTube has a little bit of quality control. When you click on a video entitled Afro Man's Because I Got High, you're not going to get Rick Ashley's Never Gonna Give You Up.
I mean, you might.
With LimeWire, you very well could get that outcome.
I'm saying you might.
With YouTube, it can happen, but it is highly unlikely that it's gonna happen.
I am unrickrollable.
I beg to differ.
Have you ever rickrolled me before?
I almost did one time. Single time.
Yeah, almost.
And it was at like, what, 12 o'clock the evening before my birthday? Or something like that?
I think so. Wait, which time? Was it time you just like, oh yeah, hey, look at this video game trailer? Was it that one?
Oh no! That one actually fooled both... It nearly fooled you, and it completely fooled Marianne, because she clicked on the link and was like, Mother of God, I hate you!
No, see, because the link was... I memorized the end code of the Rickroll link.
I still don't understand how you memorized the URL.
No, I just memorized the last 4 letters. It's like XQC or something, in that... something. But I see that, and I'm immediately suspicious.
But yeah.
You almost...
LimeWire...
Wait, no. There was another one that was after that. You almost got me because you used a different video. But, Mike... Okay, one, there was no context to this text message. And if you're sending over text, that's so the little widget thing doesn't pop up. And I'm like, it's late.
No, that one was not actually a Rickroll. That one was Rick Ashley going, it's time to say goodbye, and then he shoots you.
Well...
Because that's apparently now a meme where they just do to Rick Ashley what they did to Freddie Mercury. And it's beautiful and I love it. But now then. Now that we're done talking about music, are you ready to move on to movies?
Sure, I think I'll watch movies, Josh.
I think you've seen some of the early 2000s movies.
I did watch more movies back then, but I don't remember when they came out.
Okay, so let us talk about The Matrix and its sequels.
Okay.
Now, I have watched bits and pieces of the sequels.
Mhm.
However, I have seen the first movie, and the first movie was released in 1999. But it
Mhm.
had a ripple effect on all movies throughout the early 2000s, so I feel like we can count it and talk about it here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it, like, upped the scale for, like, you know, what a movie needs to be, what an action movie needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on The Matrix?
I remember I watched it. I don't remember a lot about it. Well, like, I remember what happens vaguely, but not like. If it makes sense, I don't remember what my initial impressions were. I remember thinking, what if I take the blue and red pill when I was a kid? That's what I remember. But
Yes, because when you were a kid, you were a pillhead.
I was just curious of what happens if you take both. Maybe I just had a session with red and blue. Because my first OC had one red eye, one blue eye. I remember I liked the action scenes, but I think I found the rest of it boring because I was a kid.
I mean, yeah, but do keep in mind, it is The Matrix. It's meant to be one of those things that you slowly, over time, grow to understand and appreciate it.
Yeah, I remember there was a lot of shows that I watched as a kid, and it's like, and I didn't like them, but I like them now. Most of those are ones that aren't action heavy, so yeah.
For me personally, I liked the first Matrix movie, but I felt as time went on, the sequels fell apart.
I don't think I watched the sequel.
Okay, I remember like sitting down with a bowl of popcorn to watch both 2 and 3 in one sitting, because I had heard they get progressively worse, and I wanted to, like, you know, knock them out in one sitting, find my whole thoughts on the trilogy. I got through half of 2 and fell asleep. Like, I got to the part where Keanu Reeves is fighting like a bunch of Agent Smiths in an alleyway. Don't get me wrong, it is an excellent idea for a set piece, and it's a pretty cool idea for a villain, but the execution in it is terrible.
Now, weird tangent, but do you really like is it a normal thing for people, if they're not at a theater, to make popcorn in movies? Is that a normal thing?
I mean, yeah, from what I understand, it's pretty normal.
Okay, so we're similar in that we're very picky on certain things. You don't like pickles and beans, and I hate popcorn and french fries.
Okay, number one, how do you hate what type of popcorn do you hate?
All of it.
So, even if it's like stovetop popcorn, you hate that stuff.
Yep.
Stovetop popcorn is the best popcorn, okay?
Okay. Still hate it.
And I can understand hating some fries, but not all fries are created equal, my friend.
I'm just saying, I don't like them.
Yeah, and you're entitled to your opinion even though it is wrong.
Yeah, same
We
with you.
understand.
Same with you and beans and pickles.
Hey, I can't help it that beans are terrible. It's not my fault that they have to suck, but they do.
We fried beans are the best.
Beans are always terrible, and you know it.
So popcorn.
Deep down in your soul.
So,
would you like to know what we're going to talk about next, my guy?
well, something about the early 2000s.
Yes, but we're going to talk about the early 2000s Disney Channel.
I'm Soul Xenos, and you're watching the Disney Channel.
I'm going to be honest. I think most of the shows that were on the Disney Channel in the early 2000s were terrible.
Wait. Wizards of Waverly Place?
I personally thought, like, it had 1 or 2 good episodes, but for the most part, it kind of sucked.
But Selena Gomez was so hot.
Keep in mind, at this time, I wasn't interested in girls. I was interested in stories.
What year? Wait. What year? Like, how old were we when Wizards of Waverly Place came out?
I think I was like 8.
You wasn't interested in girls when you were 8?
No, I didn't get into girls till I was like, I believe 13.
Weird.
Well, 12, 13.
Did I just have like? Is that normal, or do I just have Did I just have puberty early or something?
Wait 1 second. Let me check something. Hey, Poogle.
Wait.
When did Wizards of Waverly Place release?
The air date of the first episode of Wizards of Waverly Place was October 12th, 2007.
Okay, so I was 7.
I would be 8.
No, thank you, Google.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I was interested in girls when I was like 5, so.
I mean, I really wasn't that into women.
Even now? Even now.
Even now, I'm still kind of interested in women, let's be real. I lie to you, my English does not make sense. Okay, but one thing that Disney did have, most of their animated shows were pretty good.
I mean, I prefer Cartoon Network shows in the early 2000s.
I mean, I myself did simply because they had Star Wars, The Clone Wars, but...
I mean, Ed, Edd and Eddy? Come on. You never watched Ed, Edd and Eddy, did you?
No, I've told you this several times. I wasn't allowed to by my parents.
But it's so good.
Yes, but I wasn't allowed to watch it because
What was some Disney cartoons during the time?
Phineas and Ferb.
Okay, yeah. That's a good one.
That was like the best one they had.
Yeah.
And just anything on Disney XD, if we're being entirely honest.
Was Disney XD early 2000s?
Yeah. I believe so.
I feel like XD didn't come out until like 2010.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't until like Act 2 of the early 2000s, but
still
in there.
I thought 2009 and 2012 was Act 3.
Oh yeah, they're part of Act 3, my bad.
Gotta get your act together.
Now, let us move on to the next cartoon that we shall talk about.
Uh-huh.
Batman.
Which one?
The one from the early 2000s.
Which one?
Exactly. But since we're in movies, we're gonna wait to talk about Batman TV.
Uh-huh.
And we're gonna go for The Dark Knight.
I'm a dog chasing cars.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I've only ever seen the second movie. I want to watch the third one, and I have, like, no interest in the first movie.
Is the first one the one with Bane?
No, that's the third one.
Ah.
The first one, I believe, is the one with Dr. Crane.
Can I talk about how the movie with Bane doesn't make any fucking sense?
It really doesn't.
So, firstly, Bane is supposed to be a character that's like a junkie meathead kind of guy, but he's like Lex Luthor in the movie. And like it starts out, he's got a good point, you know, about how the government's running the city and all. You know, and you like think, man, he's got kind of got a point. And then he like tries to like bomb a school or something, and they do that just so he's not like super relatable, right?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. That movie probably has my favorite form of Bane.
Yeah, but he's not Bane at all.
I know, which is weird because
I used to think that Bane's name was Vane because like. I thought his name was Vane because he has like you could see his veins and his muscles in the animated version. So I thought his name was Vane.
Okay, also I never really got to watch the animated version of Batman.
Again, which one?
Like the one that everyone's constantly going on about. I believe it's Batman the Brave and the Bold.
That was a good cartoon. Okay, so I like.
Okay, I only saw like 1 or 2 episodes of it from what I recall, and they were the ones where Batman's biggest fan kills him.
Oh, what? I think he just breaks his arm, doesn't he?
No, I seem to remember him like wiping out the universe and starting again because he gets annoyed. And that's how they justify a reboot or something like that.
Okay, so Batman the Brave and the Bold, because you know like that. Okay, there was a version of Batman that was like he never teams up. You know what I'm talking about?
I just thought that was in Batman's character to begin with, but
yeah,
okay.
They say. I understand people say that, but he's got Robin, fucking Nightwing, different.
No, he's got Robin 1.
2.
When he dies, he gets Robin 2. When he dies, he gets Robin 3.
Okay, yeah, and there's.
I forget what happens to Robin 3, but he. Also
I forget which Robin's. I forget which
and
Robin's.
Alfred.
I forget which Robin's which, but Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing. There's Batgirl.
I believe. Wait, no. I thought Dick Grayson was the one that gets beaten to death by the Joker and eventually becomes, like, the Red Hood or something like that.
Jason. No, that's Jason Todd.
Oh, wait, that's Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, and which one's the leader of the Teen Titans again?
That's Dick Grayson.
So, Nightwing.
Yeah.
Is that before or after he becomes Nightwing?
Before. Because he's the Robin, you know, in Teen Titans. But there's, like, episodes... At least we're talking about the original series. There's episodes where they go into the future and he's Nightwing.
And what happens to the third Robin? Or do I not want to know?
The third Robin, I think there's 4 Robins.
I only ever seem to remember there being 3.
I think there's one more. And okay, there's one that's like, I might be like separating 2 different comic versions that could be doing that. But there's one that's like, he replaces Batman in like this comic where Batman goes missing, and he's like not as good as Batman, but better than Batman in like the detective area, and that was his character. And then there's Damian, which is actually Batman's son. So yeah. Okay, Brave and the Bold was cool because it was like a different team up every episode, and so my favorite ones were the ones with Batman and Blue Beetle. Those were the best episodes.
Okay, and which one is the one titled Batman the Animated Series?
Well, it's just what do you mean? Which one's which?
I mean, there's one that everyone constantly goes on about called Batman the Animated Series, where Batman is just a Mary Sue that can do literally anything.
Yeah, I watched it, but I didn't like it as much as Brave and the Bold or even Batman Beyond.
From what I understand, that's everyone's favorite one.
No, I liked even Beyond more than Batman animated series. Ever watch Beyond?
No, I don't think I did.
It's like Batman, but in the future. Batman's an old man.
Wasn't there one cartoon where Batman gets like to be a really buff old dude in a white tuxedo and he snaps Joker's neck? Or does that not happen until the 2010s?
Sure, I don't know. You mean the Killing Joke?
I don't think it's the Killing Joke. I think it's a different one.
So I was like saying, he's not an old man, the Killing Joke.
Yeah, he's a rather young guy, and,
Wait, did you ever watch Static Shock?
No.
Static Shock was a good one, too. And it actually has a tie-in episode with Batman Beyond.
Huh. So, are you ready to go on to what is undoubtedly going to be the hardest part of this video to talk about?
Sure.
Okay, prepare yourself because I'm about to lose any and all dignity I have for myself.
I mean, you did that when you said you like Screamo, so...
This is going to be even worse somehow.
Uh-huh.
You remember Twilight?
Yeah.
I feel like I can't talk about the early 2000s without at least bringing this up.
Okay, I'll summarize it for you. It sucks.
I was forced to see every single one of those movies.
I never watched the movies, but I actually did read the first movie.
Okay, I was forced to watch all of the movies, and I thought New Moon was okay. Eclipse was the best one, let's be real. And Breaking Dawn, both parts of it sucked.
I only read the first book. Okay, I think I blocked a lot of my memory. But I just remember, like, Bella, she fucking describes things in such a monotone, like, wording. It feels like she's reading, like, a newscast. It's so weird.
She's the same way in the movies, completely lifeless.
I know, it's just weird.
It's like, why do you have to deadpan deliver everything, woman?
I mean, I get that, but I don't I don't know. It really feels like a newscaster who really doesn't want to be there.
Fun fact, that's also exactly her performance as well. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way...
Why'd you say this would be hard to talk about? I don't understand.
Because I really thought this was going to be one of those, neither of us wanted to do this, but I put it in the script because filling time. And it also helps me transition into my next thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, so Twilight allows me to transition into the obviously better topic that I have, which is books based on movies that were based on books.
I thought you were going to say the movie Vampires Suck.
Oh no, that is the greatest movie ever put to film, and you know it. Even though it is a product of its time, and I'm looking at it right now. Which, I have to say, I am impressed with how they at least got some lookalikes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, looks like she's got energy, and so does Edwards.
I think I'd also have a copy of Vampires.
This came out in 2013, so I can't bring this up. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Okay, so, while we're still talking about parodies movies, I know that this probably isn't early 2000s and is more than likely 2013.
Scary movies.
But what?
You're talking about the scary movies?
Oh no, they basically dominated the early 2000s.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking This Is the End. We watched this before we went to Point Pleasant, you remember.
Oh, wait, yeah, This Is the End. Is that the,
This is the one where the apocalypse happens and a bunch of movie stars are trapped
Oh,
together
yeah.
in a house.
Yeah. Was that...
I'm gonna be honest, that movie is hilarious.
What's the... There's a movie that's kind of like it, and like, parodying stuff. Okay, I don't remember what the movie's called. I think it starts with a D. But, it has, like, killer... Like, murderizing Alvin and the Chipmunks. Like, this dude has a giant ass crack, and the apocalypse is happening. And his dad's like Indiana Jones.
That sounds unnervingly familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, so... Another movie that I feel like we should probably talk about, now that you've brought up the scary movies, let us talk about Scary Movie 3, the best one.
I'll be honest with you, I think I've seen most of them, and they all just blend together.
Okay, so for me, I have seen
Wait.
all of them except for 5.
Is Scary Movie... Which Scary Movie is it where, like, they fucking, like... football kick Jigsaw?
I think that might be the second one.
Ah, okay.
My favorite one is personally 3, where they parody The Ring.
Ah, yeah.
And they have an ongoing joke where they keep hitting this kid with a car and throwing him out windows. And it also has my favorite joke, where it's like, the hood runs deep, and they just bring out the entire Wu-Tang Clan, and then they all kill each other.
You know... There's a lot of The Ring hentai.
I didn't need to know that, but now I do. Why do you know this? Why?
My goals are beyond your understanding.
Why? I didn't want to know this! Ah!
There's a lot.
Okay, so now I think that we have thoroughly lost the plot, so let's move on to the
This
last...
is the plot. I'm talking about plot. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's move on to the last thing I wanted to talk about in movies.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about the Spider-Man movies. Specifically, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. The best
Pizza
Spider-Man
time.
movies. It's pizza time.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one of these movies was your favorite?
I think 2.
Okay, so with me, my favorite one was the first one, despite the fact that I like the editing in the second one more.
Spider-Man 2 is, like, ingrained in, my brain. Not because of the actual movie, but this one... Okay, so, to go back to Ed, Edd n Eddy, one day, there was, when I was at school, there was an Ed, Edd n Eddy marathon, and this was like before, I think it was a little bit before Spider-Man 2 came out, and so in the commercials, they were always talking about Spider-Man 2, and it was like the one scene with Mary Jane in a red dress, and I had that scene ingrained in my mind, because my dad would record on a VCR the Ed, Edd n Eddy marathon, and I'd watch it a lot when I was a kid, whenever I was bored. And so I just have that one particular scene, like, etched into my brain.
Okay, so the one scene that is, like, etched into my brain of Spider-Man 2 is Aunt May dying for some reason. I remember that. Like, you know where the Doc Ock, like, drops her from a skyscraper and Peter saves her?
Sure.
Okay, so as a kid, that was the only bit of Spider-Man 2 that I had ever seen. And he drops Mary Jane, and then it went to commercial, right?
What? You said Aunt May a minute ago.
No, he drops Aunt May, not Mary Jane. I'm sorry, I don't know what I was thinking of. But he drops, like, Aunt May from a skyscraper, and it cut to commercial right before Peter saves her, right? And my brother changed the channel, and then we never changed it back. So, for years and years and years, until I saw, like, the end of Spider-Man 3, I was convinced Aunt May dies in the second movie. She just falls to her death.
There's, like, a Spider-Man comic where, I don't know if it's Doc Ock, but someone throws Gwen Stacy off a bridge, and he goes and saves her, and Spider-Man catches her, but the fucking force of her falling and being caught by Spider-Man snaps her neck.
I believe that's the Amazing Spider-Man, and I'm wanting to say either the Goblin does it or Electro. I believe it's the Goblin, though.
Hmm.
Like, when Harry's the Goblin.
Goblin.
However, we cannot speak of the Goblin without talking about the greatest casting for the Green Goblin.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
William Dafoe. He nailed that role, I think. He just chews that scenery. And you know what? While I'm talking about William Dafoe, have you seen The Boondock Saints?
No.
That is an amazing movie.
I've
You
seen-
need to watch it.
I watched
It's
the show.
cheesy as all hell.
I watched the show The Boondocks.
That has nothing to do with The Boondock Saints, I assure you.
Okay, wait, still talking about Spider-Man. Topher Grace is such a weird actor to make Eddie Brock, right?
That doesn't happen until Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, well, I don't give a fuck.
You're trying to bring this back around to Spider-Man.
Okay, Eric from the fucking 70s show, Skinny Bean, the guy I would maybe put as nerd Peter Parker, is the buff bully Eddie Brock. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I mean, but J. Jonah Jameson as J.K. Simmons.
I think you mean the other way around, right?
No, I meant it the way I said it, because, as we all know, when J.K. Simmons walked in to play the role, it was like that one guy that played Shaggy in the early 2000s Scooby-Doo movies. He just kind of blacked out as he was possessed by the ghost of J. Jonah Jameson.
I see. Man, the Shaggy memes were like... I wonder
The Shaggy memes are still fire, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
Like, that wasn't even 1% of my power, man.
Yeah, man!
Zoink, Scoob. I'll destroy your planet. Okay.
Okay, so now let us move on to what I'm sure we'll have a lot more to talk about with TV. And I'm gonna start out...
Jesh TV?
No, you see, I'm gonna start out with the birth of both of our loves for anime, if we're being entirely honest. Let's talk about 4Kids anime.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure it was an anime before I ever watched 4Kids.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch anime for years, even after 4Kids, but
Wait, when did
I
you...
gotta give 4Kids some bit of respect.
I am pretty sure the first anime I watched was Yu Yu Hakusho.
That was dubbed by 4Kids and Funimation.
Well, Funimation, I don't think it was dubbed by 4Kids, was it?
No, there's one that is dubbed by...
I watched
From
the
what I
Funimation
understand,
version.
the Cartoon Network version was dubbed by 4Kids.
Was it?
And then there was another version that was Funimation.
Was it?
Yeah. The reason I know this is, you know that pawn shop that's down by the mall in Middlesboro?
The one with the skull sign?
Yeah, that one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I went in there one day whilst browsing for Django Unchained, and I found Yu Yu Hakusho, the box collection, but it was dubbed by 4Kids. And I was very close to buying it, taking it home, and watching it.
I don't remember 4Kids ever making a version, but I watched the Funimation version.
I swear to God they made a version, and I want to see it so bad. Because it has to be butchered beyond belief. For God's sakes, they butchered GX. They have to have butchered Hakusho.
I wouldn't say they butchered it, but they didn't... Well, they kind of did a little bit. In Shaman King, never watched Shaman King, and I've complained to you about this before, but 4Kids is really weird on what names they change and what ones they don't, right?
For God's sakes, they kept a character having the last name Yuki, but changed his first name to Jaden.
Yeah, and like...
His name was Judah Yuki, but no. We don't want to change the last name. Let's just change the first one.
I
Make
kind
it have no relevance to
I
the
kind
naming
of
scheme
get
of the
that.
characters.
I kind of get that because every Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist has a name that starts with Y.
Yeah, but it's always their first name.
Well...
Here, I'll prove it. You got Yugi, you got, Judai, you got Yusei, Yuma, Yuya, and, I have no idea what Playmaker's original name was. But it's always like their first name has the U in it.
Yeah, well, I think it might be that GX, they probably, like, in the Japanese version, refer to him as Yuki, because, right?
Yeah, because Japan normally refers to them by their first name, such as, Noriaki Kakyoin has always been referred to as Kakyoin.
No, wait. Is Judai his first or last name, and they're just doing the Japanese thing?
Judai is his first name, but they're always... But I would say for most of the time that he's in the show, they call him Yuki. Or
Okay.
something like that.
I'm just
Or
saying.
they just refer to him using his full name.
Well, it just seems weird that, like, even look at the original Yu-Gi-Oh! The main character's Yugi Moto. Or Muto.
Yeah. And then you got Joey Wiwa.
Yeah, what's his
It's
name?
Junichi.
Yeah, Junichi. I don't remember what the other ones' names are.
I don't... Like, Joey, I think... Joey and Tristan are the only ones that I think they changed their names, and I think Tristan is like Hana-chan or something like that.
I'm pretty sure Teia's was also changed. Bakura's name was like Ryuto, I think.
That sounds much cooler than Bakura. Why would you change that?
I don't know. Okay, so Keith, Bandit Keith, I think was called like Keith Hansen or something.
Nah, you see, he was called Keith Ledger.
I remember Bones was called Ghost his like nickname was Ghost in the Japanese version.
Yes, but you can't say that in the American version because that implies at some point he died. He did the big dead.
But all his cards are zombies. And like, Yami is literally... Firstly, Yami. Did they refer to him as Yami in the English version?
No, they always refer to him as the Pharaoh. They never call him Yami.
Nah.
As far as I know, unless Season 5 changed something.
Well, okay, they call him...
I haven't actually watched the series in forever.
Well, Yami just means dark. So, like, Dark Yugi. And his real name's A.T.O.M.
For God's sakes, they never even give Yami Bakura a Yami American name.
Do they?
Because Yami Bakura is always the spirit of the ring. Yami Merrick is, well, Merrick's gone insane.
I feel like they gave Bakura's a name, like in the flashback.
They might have, but I have never seen Season 5. I was about to say Season 0 for a minute, and then I remembered, oh wait!
Remember that time
That's much worse!
Remember that time they went into a video game, and there's a princess that looks exactly like Mokuba? But also,
Yeah,
Mokuba's a Japanese name, what the fuck? And so is Seto Kaiba.
Yeah.
But in Shaman King, they keep the main character's name, Yo Asakura, but they changed Rin to Lin, and Pai Long to Pai Rong, and that just seems kind of racist.
Okay, but you can't deny 4Kids' magnum opus.
Okay, wait, one more thing about Shaman King. It's weird that they keep Yo's name Japanese, but they changed his brother's name from Han to Zeke. I just think that's weird. Okay.
It is, because I actually kind of like the name Zeke.
I mean, Zeke's a cool name, but it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So, this is the last time I will refer to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX before we inevitably switch to talking about how they just butchered One Piece. Okay, this is the last time for this video, because I have to talk about their magnum opus, because we can't talk about 4Kids without talking about the Chaz.
The Chaz.
You gotta Chaz it up, my guy.
Yeah, man.
The greatest character known to mankind, Chaz Princeton.
Yeah, man, to get the Chaz.
You're about to get Chazzed. Proceeds to lose every single time he says it, except once, I think.
Yeah.
And then there was the One Piece dub.
Okay, the One Piece rap is good.
It is the only good thing that show produced.
Yeah, yo,
after it was hacked to bits.
yo.
For God's sakes, the thing was hacked to bits more than an emo teenager.
So, okay, let's count it up. They changed Sanji's cigarette to a lollipop. They changed all guns to water guns.
Didn't they change that one dude's swords?
Did they?
I want to say they did, but I was never allowed to watch One Piece as a kid, I'm gonna be honest.
I think they changed where Onami showed less cleavage.
What are you talking about? In the early days, she was always wearing a tank top, as far as I know.
Yeah. I mean, no, I think there were scenes that they... It wasn't like... Okay, she wasn't like full-on bikini.
She wasn't like she is in later seasons.
Yeah. That's, wow, what happened here?
seriously, like, that was well after just I stopped trying to catch up with One Piece. Because I watched a good chunk of episodes before just giving up entirely. Because I was like, wow, I'm actually never going to catch up to this. And then I looked at, like, modern One Piece, and I was like, oh my god, what is with these designs? Like, no one has changed, except for this woman.
Okay, well, some characters changed. I think Sanji gets more of a beard. Usopp looks a bit different. Zoro only has one eye now.
But what about Usopp's rubber knife that you never hear about ever again?
Rubber knife? What?
Okay, in the 4Kids dub, something that happens is there's a scene where Nami has to, like, stab Usopp to prove her loyalty to someone else. And it's like, here, Nami, take my rubber knife, like, after she has thrown the smoke bomb, or something like that.
I don't remember that at all.
I swear to God it's in the 4Kids dub, and you never hear about this rubber knife ever again or before.
Yeah, because Usopp uses a slingshot.
Yeah, and you never hear about this ever again, which is weird. Okay, so now that we have gone on that incredibly long tangent about the glories of 4Kids, you remember the early days of action cartoons, which we have kind of already talked about, but
what do you consider? Well, no, we were talking about anime. Thank you very much. But what do you consider an action cartoon?
Okay, so like Batman,
okay. Like ones that like Teen Titans.
Yeah, but there's one I seem to remember from the early 2000s that I can never find anyone mentioning. The Thundercats.
Was that early 2000s?
I don't know. I believe there was a series of the Thundercats in the 90s that everyone talks about, but there was one that was like in the early 2000s where they fought on motorcycle planes. I swear to God.
What? No, wait. They made a Thundercats remake, but this part's new to me. Are you sure it was Thundercats?
It probably wasn't Thundercats, but from what I remember, the main character was some type of cat that had a sword, and he drove around on a motorcycle plane. It is all I remember.
Stormhawks?
It might be. I forget the name of the show.
I think you're like fusing 3 different shows together.
I very well could be, but I seem to remember this being like the entire plot.
A.T.O.M, Alpha Teens on Machines.
Okay, so I am fusing like 3 or 4 different shows. Okay.
Okay.
Because I remember having a toy of, like, one of these planes as a kid. But yeah, I remember this being a really entertaining show to watch.
Oh, wait, if we're going to talk about early 2000s cartoons, Total Drama Island, right?
Yes. We can finally talk about this, because I really did like that show as a kid, let's be 100% transparent. Chris was the greatest character of all time, and now he has been promoted to Director of the Year, and he is directing 2020.
So, that'd make too much sense, sort of. Who was your favorite contestant? Is it Owen?
No, it was not Owen. It was actually one of the guys from Radioactive Island. You know the guy who has, like, multiple personality disorder that drives the entire plot?
Oh, yeah. What's his name?
Okay, Poodle. What is the name of the guy from Total Drama Island that had multiple personality disorder?
Mike.
Okay, Google, never mind. Mike.
Mike.
It's just Mike.
To no one's surprise, my favorite character was Duncan.
I figured you would have been more into that one goth girl.
Oh, yeah,
who has a nerdy simp.
Yeah, Gwen. Okay, Gwen. Was it me, or is there just, like, a lot of, okay, like, when you was a kid, there were a lot of, good female characters named Gwen.
Okay, my thing was they never had a consistent name, but they always had the same personality type of strong female character and nothing else.
Like, okay, there's Gwen from Total Drama Island, Gwen from Ben 10, Spider Gwen, I guess.
Oh, and how could we forget to talk about both Ben 10 and, of course, Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
I don't know if I put those things in the same category, but yeah.
They premiered on the same block, from what I was aware, but they were both, like, really, really good.
Yeah.
Or at least, like, the older Ben 10 stuff is what I was talking about specifically.
Oh, you mean like the original series?
No, like, not the original series, the one where he's, like, a teenager.
Oh, Alien Force?
Yeah.
I preferred the original series, to be honest.
I mean, I thought the original series was okay, but I grew up preferring Alien Force because I like the designs better.
It just, okay.
Granted, I enjoyed the finale of the original the best, though.
Okay, the thing I didn't like about Alien Force is season 3. What it literally was the Cartoon Network directors go up to them and was like, yeah, statistics say that people like Kid Ben more. And so they make, like, Ben lose all his character development. And he turns back into the brat he was at the beginning of the first series. So, yeah. Oh yeah, Generator Rex.
Yes! Oh my god. Oh man. That show was the bomb.
Did you ever watch the Ben 10 crossover with it?
I never watched the crossover because I remember getting hyped for it and then missing the air date because we decided to go on vacation when that happened, and I was like, oh man.
Did you ever watch Symbiotic Titan? I think that was early 2000s.
No.
It had a similar story to Generator X. It was a good series that didn't get good enough ratings, and maybe some licensing issues.
Okay, but since we're talking about cartoons, now let us transition to how one must respect the pouch.
How is that transition at all?
Because every time I would watch cartoons, I would constantly see these commercials, and they horrified me.
Wait, I need one more cartoon to talk about.
Okay, one more. You get one more.
Adventure Time.
No.
What?
Moving on.
What's wrong with Adventure Time?
I didn't watch it.
Fucking heathen.
At all.
Wait, Gravity Falls wasn't early 2000s.
I consider it more of a 2010s thing.
Yeah.
But it was good. I will give it that.
Did you
Weird Mageddon.
Wait, did you watch?
Excellent finale.
Did you watch 16?
What?
Like, there was a show called 16.
No, not from my knowledge.
No. It was about 6 teens who were 16.
Ah. Alliteration.
Not a I'm gonna keep going with this. Not a cartoon, but was Ned's Declassified early 2000s.
Yes, that is definitely early 2000s. My god, how could I have forgotten about Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide? Basically, I recorded the entire series over the course of in the summer of my 5th grade year on Teen Nick.
Mm-hmm.
And the night before I started middle school, I friggin' binged watched it. Like, every last bit of it I could until I passed out.
And you were still, it didn't help.
It didn't help me in the slightest.
What's like a lesson that you remember?
The only two I remember is the janitor was the coolest character, and it doesn't matter if you're tall or not. It doesn't matter how tall you are.
Says the guy who's like 6 feet tall.
Shut up. I'm a tall glass of water.
You a glass of expired milk.
Correction, I'm a glass of sugar water, because I'm fat.
You're a glass of Capri Sun.
No, you see,
when...
Capri Sun is the pouch.
Yeah, that was when you were supposed to transition to what you were supposed to talk.
Okay.
I've set you up for.
Respect the Pouch was terrifying commercials because they would blow up these pouches, step on them, and then be punished with something mortifying.
Step on me.
I remember I used to think, one day I'm going to step on these by accident, and then I'm going to turn into something god-awful and horrific.
Okay.
And it was actually one of those things where I have to channel my inner John Mulaney and be like, I thought this was going to be a much bigger problem than it turned out to be.
What I would do, I would fucking, do the exact same thing of fucking blow when I was done with them. Because I used to eat Lunchables when I was a kid. And they came with that. So I drink it, you blow it, like when I was done, blow the air into it, make it, and then step on it and wait to be turned into something, and nothing ever happened, to my disappointment.
Why was it to your disappointment, though?
Why wouldn't it be? I want to be magically turned into something.
So
Fucking-
what, you could go on an incredible journey to get your original form back? No
That
thanks!
sounds awesome.
No thank you!
Spirits of the pouch, I command you to turn me into something.
Like, what, a traffic cone filled with gummy worms?
Sure.
'Cause chances are that could happen.
Anything. I don't care, cowards.
Don't you dare disrespect the pouch.
I disrespect the pouch. I flush the pouch down the toilet where it belongs.
We are born of the pouch. Raised by the pouch. Molded by it.
Are you?
Respect the pouch.
I thought you were doing the fucking Bloodborne one at first, but then you went into the Bane monologue.
What?
You started like it was the Bloodborne speech, but then you went to the Bane version. Where
Surprise!
Where born
I can
of
do
the
both.
pouch, made men by the pouch, undone by the pouch. Fear the old pouch.
No, it's like respect the pouch.
By the gods, respect it, lords.
Anyway, let us move on to drug PSAs.
This is your brain on drugs.
Okay, I wasn't familiar with the egg of this is your brain on drugs.
We could probably just do PSAs in general.
Okay, let's just go to PSAs in general. But what I always saw as far as the drug PSA goes was the one where she just like breaks apart her kitchen with a pan. It's like, this is your brain on drugs, shows an egg, busts it open with a pan. This is what it does to your family. Like, smashes the dishes.
What my experience with those. What do you remember Dare?
I remember Dare, but I remember it having like next to no effect on me.
Yeah, only thing I remember about Dare was meeting in the auditorium, and like they might show a video, they might not, and I just remember like the packets and everyone talking among themselves and pronouncing it marijuana. Like it was funny. That's all I remember.
Okay, so do you remember the PSAs where they tried to convince you not to use the word gay as a slang term?
I mean, no.
Oh my god, that outfit looks so gay. I never saw a single person say that unironically.
Yeah, unironically, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the only time I hear someone use gay as an adjective for
to
describing something
I don't
is
know.
either number one, talking about an actual homosexual relationship, or using it in irony to that commercial.
Firstly, this is Tennessee, so people.
I mean, yeah, it probably happened in other parts of the country, but I'm like...
People aren't the most open-minded here. So, only time I remember gay being like an actual insult was in elementary school.
I mean, I had to deal with it up until like middle
Yeah,
school.
well...
Oh my god, you're totally gay. Because that's when it really got bad for me, because...
I never got that.
I only hung out with one person.
I never got that. I can't relate.
Yeah, but that's because you didn't hang out with anyone. I was surrounded by people that I had to talk to because all of my classes were with them, whether I liked it or not.
No, I'm just saying, I just never got called that because, I mean, I got called fat, weirdo, stuff like that, but, like, you kind of exude bottom energy, so that's probably why.
Okay, I can't help it that I'm a power bottom, okay?
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Wait, do you remember the anti-piracy ones?
I think you mean you wouldn't steal a car, would you?
I remember, like, when I first got a computer.
No, it's like you wouldn't download a car, would you?
Well, here's the thing. For one, that argument makes no sense, because stealing is taking something. Piracy is like, to go with the version of, like, a purse for money. Stealing is taking that purse. Piracy is making an exact copy of that purse and then taking the copy. That's hardly the same thing. Secondly, I remember the first time that I got a computer and I pirated shit. I heard the fucking you wouldn't steal in my head, and I was like, fucking bet.
Like, my thing is, I now have it ingrained into my mind where anytime I do any act of piracy, I always think of the Nakey Jakey thing where he like pulls off his ski mask and it's like, you wouldn't download a car, would you?
No, I wouldn't because I can't.
And my favorite and most recent edit that I've seen is, you wouldn't steal toilet paper, would you? And it's playing the music as someone like grabs toilet paper off a shelf and starts running.
He's like, it's like, you wouldn't steal it. Yeah, I fucking would. Did you ever steal anything when you was a kid?
No, I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah.
No, like, I used to panic at yard sales when I would, like, look at a toy and be like, I would ask my mommy for this, but she wouldn't get it for me and I know it. So I would look at it for a bit, then walk away. Then I would, like, walk over to my mother, and when she's paying for the stuff she was buying at the yard sale, the person would attempt to give the toy to me, and I was like, no, thank you, because I was, like, fearful of being greedy.
That's weird. You're a weird kid.
No, my mother constantly thought I would guilt trip people into giving me stuff.
Oh, fuck your mom.
Yeah. I think I've made that point apparent.
Okay, so me, I didn't grow up in the best home space. All my family are criminals, so I didn't have exactly a good moral compass. I never was like smooth criminal, but like, man, I stole a pack of gum when I was 12. Don't mean to brag, but you know.
Okay, my thing is, I'm like,
Oh, wait, no, wait.
My brother was the smooth criminal. I'm the one that's like, if I did something wrong, I would panic, try to fix it, and then eventually tell on myself.
Okay, no, wait.
I couldn't live with that guilt.
Wait, when I was in 2nd grade, I think, there was this toy box at the school, and if you were good, got like an A on your test or whatever, you could pick one toy. And my seating arrangement was near the toy box. And so, like, I would, like, when no one was looking, arm stretch, grab something, slide it down my jacket, and like, put it in, like, a secret pocket that was inside my jacket. And so,
what?
Yeah. And I did this multiple times.
How did you keep getting away with this?
Because, like, when they would go to pat me down, they couldn't find anything because it was a secret zipper. Is it raining where you live? Or is that just me?
What?
Is it raining where you live, or is that just me?
That's just you, but it is kind of cloudy. Okay, so, we were talking about you stealing toys from your kindergarten class.
No, it was 2nd grade.
Okay, I actually never got to go to 2nd grade.
Mm-hmm.
I, was only in 2nd grade for like 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but my 2nd year of 1st grade was, that was a thing.
Okay, I went to 1st grade twice as well.
I went to both 1st grade and kindergarten twice.
Oh. How the fuck? Did you skip grades?
I ended up skipping most of 2nd grade, all but like the last 6 weeks of class.
Ah. I mean, that would still...
The thing was, my kindergarten teacher didn't teach me what I needed to know, and I couldn't read, and I broke down on my parents because I literally could not read.
Oh, I could read before preschool.
I didn't go to preschool.
I was taught to read at home.
I wasn't.
Like,
It's one of the reasons I liked card games as much as I did as a kid is it would give me an opportunity to practice reading.
Okay, so I did, like, win an award for being so good at reading. But,
yeah,
like,
you seem to brag about this a lot.
I don't know if I brag about it a lot, but it comes up. Shut up.
It comes up way too much for it not to be you
You
bragging.
started this. Shut up.
I didn't start this.
Well,
What does this have to do with me skipping 2nd grade?
I just don't understand people who aren't good at reading because I've always been good at it.
Oh, yes. Is that rubbing of your nipples feeling good, my friend?
A little bit.
Yes, that's terrible. Being bad at reading. Okay, Soul, what I want you to do is when I do that, have the South Park clip of the guy at the, like, rubbing his nipple pockets like, that's terrible. If that isn't on screen, I swear to God.
What are you gonna do? Edit it yourself?
Perhaps.
Try it.
I don't have the video files to.
I'll send them. You wanna edit it?
No!
Yeah,
of course not!
that's what I thought, bitch.
Because you won't get this done for months.
You don't know that.
This will not be out before Halloween. I'm betting it right now.
Wait. What's today? August 22nd. Wait, what's next month?
Next month is September.
Okay.
Followed by October.
It'll be done
I
mid-September.
can guarantee you
Mid-September.
it's not going to be out before October.
Mid-September.
It will not get out before October, I'm telling you now. Unless this is like a 100% I have to do this 100 priority.
I have
it's
to
not
prove.
going to be done before October, I swear to God.
It is 100% because I gotta prove you wrong on something. You know,
Oh no!
I break the rules of the universe whenever I do
Perhaps
that.
can I actually make this a monthly podcast by each month challenging you to get it done by next month?
No, it'll get old if you do it like that.
I mean, yeah, but
I mean,
still.
you should, because I could probably edit this if I really tried anyway.
You could probably get it done in less than 2 days if we're being entirely honest.
Yeah, it depends how much.
I know I could.
It depends how much work I'm willing to put into it. Cause like with episode 3, I went out so long without doing it, I just didn't give a shit. But in this one, I might actually try, so it would probably take me 4 days. I mean, assuming I'm not working 100% constantly, because then I would just fucking hate doing it.
Okay, anyway, moving on, because we have lost the metaphor of the PSA.
I don't remember what we were talking about.
Neither do I, so moving on to reality TV right now.
Oh, we don't.
Yes, because it seems in the early 2000s, everyone had a reality TV show.
Did they?
For God's sakes, Dog the Bounty Hunter had one that was like his personal
Were there any
sex
good?
reveal.
Were there any good reality TV shows?
I don't know, but there was an Ozzy Osbourne one.
Was there?
Yeah.
Can you name me some
remember
reality
watching
shows? Name me some reality shows.
The Sins of Man, also known as Keeping Up with the Kardashians. There was that one about the Bret Michaels sex bus.
What?
Oh yeah, the Bret Michaels sex bus. That was a thing.
I guess.
Like, all I remember about the plot of the show is it was basically The Bachelor, but for Bret Michaels and Bret Michaels only. And it followed these girls while they were on a bus. And it was like an RV.
Is this porn?
And the winner of each season got to be with Bret Michaels. I remember that being the plot of the show. I also remember it sucking. Like,
Bailey
bad.
18 tour bus. Uncensored. What? Yeah.
There was the Real Housewives of New Jersey, Real Housewives of Oklahoma, an
What?
odd amount of Real Housewives, let's be real.
And they weren't real housewives at all.
Yeah. There was Survivor, which was actually a pretty decent one.
I can't
Would
think.
Survivor technically be a reality show?
Why wouldn't it be?
Fair enough.
I'm just no. It's like why wouldn't it be actually?
I mean, it's mainly a game show, and you're not following the same cast of people throughout every single season. It changes once a season.
Oh, no. It's about as real as all the other reality shows.
True. But,
I can't think of a reality show I watched. Wait.
I watched a lot of these at dinner with my family.
Can I call?
Especially the Bret Michaels one, which is...
Can I call Zach and
odd.
Can I call Zach and Cody a reality show?
No, you can't. It doesn't count.
Why not?
I would count Total Drama before I counted The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Why
because
not?
That was... Because it was set up in such a way of it's a show.
Yeah,
not
so is reality
you think
shows.
This is of reality happy.
No one actually fucking thought they were real. Come on.
No one thought they were real, but they still tried to keep up the essence of being real.
Yeah, but Zack and Cody was actually good.
Not really.
Okay, you saying you'd rather watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
God, no.
Okay,
I would
well...
much rather watch Drake and Josh over Zack and Cody, let's be real.
Okay, that's a good point.
Drake and Josh was better than Zack and Cody. There, I said it!
Okay. You know, I'll give you that.
Okay, but whilst we're on the subject of reality TV, do you remember MTV and how it had music videos?
Yes.
Okay, I remember that they had a top 20, and like right after that they would just get to showing like terrible reality shows like 16 and Pregnant, or that one where they film a bunch of Amish people. And I remember that for some unknown reason, I would like record all of my music from music videos and then play them back, static and all.
That's a mood.
Yeah, and I also remember one time I watched the entire top 20, and when my parents found out I watched it all by myself, they got really annoyed with me, and I still don't understand why.
It had Britney Spears in it.
That's probably because number one was California Girls.
What's the...
Probably that.
California Girls.
You know, California Girls were undeniable.
What's that Katy Perry song?
That was a Katy Perry song.
Was it?
Yeah.
What's the one I'm thinking of?
Waking Up in Vegas?
No,
You're
Candyland?
hot, then you're cold.
Candyland? You know what I'm talking about?
That's California Girls.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
One with Snoop D-double-G.
I don't know. Like, but she was in Candyland in the music video, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one with Snoop Dogg.
Okay. So
best part of that song.
I have a similar story to I woke up early to watch music videos, and that was number one, and they thought I was watching porn.
Oh no, my parents, they got really angry with me until they realized I actually didn't know why they were angry, because I was like that young and naive. I straight up didn't know what porn was at the time, and I had no interest in the things that was going on
Girls are
in the music videos.
Girls are
It was a matter.
Is that you?
That was me at the time, yes. But looking back on it, I can laugh now because I realized that that I was too young to realize why they were angry.
You were watching Katy Perry dance around skimpily without me? How dare you?
I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry. Now it's time to move on to the relic of the early 2000s.
Relic of the future.
No, you see, those would be our current flat screens. These are even bulkier, wider,
the big
bigger
box TV.
CRT TVs.
The big box ones, right?
Yeah.
I actually moved. So okay, my family had a bunch of box TVs before we got flat screens. Most of them, they were pretty big, but there was one. I moved it out. Remember when I told you that I remodeled my room a bit?
Yeah.
I moved that out, the big box TV, and it is so fucking heavy. Like, I've moved box TVs by myself before, but I could not, like, lift it. I had to, like, roll it to, like, get it out.
Okay, like, with my experience when it comes to CRTs, I had a absolutely massive one when I was a teenager, and it made my PS2 games, like, uber enjoyable when I got to play them, because I never had cable in my room. I still don't, but
who wants cable?
I don't know because I no longer use cable at all.
I mean, your internet would be better if you used a LAN cord, but, you know.
Once again, I can't drill a hole in my roof to connect it to the Wi-Fi router.
You could.
I can't get in the attic to do it. I'm too fat. Like, even you couldn't fit in the attic, trust me.
Aren't we the same size?
I think you might be a little bit bigger than me.
Where it counts.
At this point.
Wink. Nudge.
Everything's a dead joke.
I'm gonna, like, You make it too easy. I don't
Okay,
think.
so anyway,
wait, no, wait, no, stop, shut up. My podcast.
I just want to talk about my electrical degree
No,
and
shut up.
CRTs, dang it.
You do this thing where you say all I do is make dick jokes, but for one, you like make it really easy, and two, I don't actually do them that often.
Not anymore, but you used to be really bad for 'em.
No, because you would set it up.
Yeah, without realizing that I set it up.
Yeah, well, that's more on you. Secondly, what would you say if
How
I?
is that more on me?
Well, okay, shut up. Okay, talk about the Midnight Channel or something, whatever.
Okay, so anyway, with the CRTs that you could stuff a person in if you folded them up correctly,
Mm-hmm.
am I the only one that constantly had trouble hooking stuff up to them?
Yes.
Okay, like, my brother would constantly tell me, oh yeah, the PS2 is really easy to hook up.
It is.
It would take me at least an hour to hook it up to a CRT.
You're dumb.
No, it's because I had to have a box that would tie in to a... I had a box that would adapt it to where I could play it through my VCR and DVD combo box, which...
Why don't you just plug it straight into a TV?
Because it wouldn't register that way. It never
Why?
has.
Well, your TV is broken.
No, like, none of my TVs ever did that. I would always try, but they would never do that.
Did you plug them in right?
Yeah, I would plug them in right. Red to red,
Did you?
white to white, yellow to yellow.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. I really did. And
My
they never
mom.
worked like that.
Did you really, SpongeBob?
I was thinking, like, you know how, like, in some podcasts they have, like, a product placement in the middle of the episode?
Yeah?
I was like, obviously we don't have any sponsors, but I'm like, if we had to make a fake product placement, what would you make it?
The Rust Bucket? Well, hello there. You look like the kind of person that could use a pretty decent car at their very least. Well, surprise, because here at Rust Bucket Incorporated, they have exactly what you need. They have crappy cars, they have worse cars, they have literal buckets of rust. Like, my god, do they have so much rust buckets. And they haven't been getting any business, so they are paying us here at Rust Bucket Emporium. We here at Beneath the Mask want to send you to Rust Bucket Emporium. That way you can know what it's like to drive down the street with the world's worst rust bucket and know that, yes, this thing is gonna break down before you get it home, and you cannot get a refund. And we're gonna force you to pay this off for the next 3 years of your life until the wheels quite literally fall off, and you still won't have it paid off. Dole, what do you think of our sponsor?
Great. I don't have a license, but that sounds amazing.
Bet you want to buy a Rust Bucket now, because that was the best fake advertisement you've ever heard.
Sponsor. Oh wait. Oh, let me one up you. Sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh god! But honestly, I think if we were to do a sponsor, I would really want them to be kind of like how the Internet Historian does his with like the Flash animations.
Oh yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, like, if we had to, I would edit them, upload them, let you record them, and then I would take them down, but still.
And then you would take them down.
Yes, because you've seen my, weird Flash animation skills.
That's not even Flash animation. Don't flatter yourself.
Let's be honest, it's the equivalent of acting on stage with cardboard cutouts. But anyway, back to the actual topic, because for them, it has been like a few seconds since we left.
I don't
but
know,
for us,
your
it's
product
been
placement.
like a day or two.
No, your product placement was so good. You unwove the fabric of space and time.
Yeah, we're now 50 years into the future, whereas our viewer is only a few minutes into the future. Because the biggest sigh that they just had at my wonderful advertising skills, that broke the barrier of space-time continuums yet again, sending us another 60 years into the future.
69 years. That's, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, if I do say so myself. But the next topic I wanted to get to about reminiscing in the early 2000s and just feeling the nostalgia just hit you like a steel truck, Jack and Daxter. Now, Soul, I don't know if you have ever played Jack and Daxter.
Okay, let me get.
I know you haven't.
Okay, no. Let me set you straight. So I played. I had a PS2. I played Jack and Daxter. Played it for about 5 minutes. Like, this is Ratchet and Clank, but worse. And that was my experience.
Ah, I see. So you're a filthy heathen and you're wrong.
I like to consider myself an intellectual. Thank you very much.
Don't flatter yourself. You know you're not.
Reusing my comments doesn't work. Like, you don't even wait an episode to reuse it.
Okay, rather, allow me to do this in the way the true memer I am would easily do this.
Mm-hmm.
Uno reverse card.
Nah.
No you. But you see, Jack and Daxter was a massive part of my childhood as I played it until I was a teenager.
Uh-huh.
Didn't finish any of the games until I was at least, like, 13. Because I didn't get a PS2 in my room until I was, like, 13. But the point is, these games were awesome-tacular. Like, Jack 1, like Jack and Daxter, was an awesome game. It was perfectly fine on its own. Jack 2, gaming has become beautiful, best pastime. Jack 3, rounding off the trilogy with a nice little bow and a million different gameplay gimmicks that have not aged as gracefully as you would want them to. But ultimately, I would say Jack 2 would have been the breadwinner of that franchise.
So
And they would have been perfect. However, I do not want a sequel to these games or a reboot because, my god, has their time passed.
You wouldn't want a remake?
No, I would not want a remake
I thought
or
the-
a reboot.
I thought
Keep
the
the
Ratchet...
games as they were.
I thought the Ratchet and Clank remake was pretty good.
No, like, I thought the Ratchet and Clank remake was pretty good, but Ratchet and Clank I view as a completely different story to the Jack and Daxter series. Because the Jack and Daxter series, it is the most 2000s thing I think you could make. Because you went from a kid-friendly platformer to, in all honesty, Shadow the Hedgehog with Super Saiyan hair but an elf, to attempting to please both sides of your divided fan base with a nice little bow, to just making a single combat racing game that is god tier even to this day, and I would totally want a sequel to that. Because that is the only game in the franchise I would accept a sequel to. And no, before you ask, Jack and Daxter The Lost Frontier did not happen.
What about Daxter?
Daxter happened. It was... I haven't played it personally, but I have heard it was okay. The Lost Frontier, that never happened. I don't know what a Lost Frontier is. And no, Jack never flew a plane.
Okay, then. So you would say Jack and Daxter was the most influential game in your childhood?
For me, yes. I
Now,
know for a lot of people that's probably not the case.
now, well, okay, how would you say that Jack and Daxter affected you?
Well, it re-sparked... Not only did it re-spark my love for gaming, but it also got me to actually, like, sit down and evaluate storytelling as a whole. Like, if I were to make I would also, like, throw it in with the stuff that made me start writing stories when I was, like, 13, because a lot of the elements from those games have made it into several of my stories in the past.
Do you know what my most influential game is?
It's gonna be Kingdom Hearts, isn't it?
Kingdom Hearts 2, thank you very much.
No, like, as a series, would you say Kingdom Hearts as a whole?
Here's the thing. I played Kingdom Hearts 2 first. And for the longest time, I didn't realize it was a sequel. Because when you're a kid, you don't know how to read Roman numerals.
As a kid, I knew how to read a 2 in Roman numerals, thank you.
Yeah, well...
Granted, I probably would have thought Kingdom Hearts 2 was Kingdom Hearts 11, which, if you're going canonically, it gets pretty close.
No, okay, so... That makes
No. Think about it. You got Birth by Sleep.
Birth by Sleep
You
comes
got-
first. Well, no,
Yeah, Birth by Sleep.
no,
Then King.
no, Union, the mobile
Okay,
game.
you got Union Cross, Birth by Sleep 2,
2.8.
yeah, 2.8, then you got the first Kingdom Hearts, then you got, Chain of Memories, then you got the, 469 Days over 16, or
Just days.
13.
People just call it Kingdom Hearts Days.
Yeah, you got Kingdom Hearts Great Days, I believe there's like 4 other Kingdom Hearts games, and then there's Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay. Anyways.
Because it gets, like, within
Okay,
4
firstly-
games of being number 11.
Firstly, if they remade Days on the PS4, that'd be awesome. Secondly,
I would play it.
PS5, I'd just say. Because, like, the 3DS, not the 3DS, just the, I don't think it was for 3DS, just regular
The
DS.
regular DS is what
Yeah.
it was for, because
Yeah,
he
it
loaned
really-
it to me, and I got to play it.
Yeah, it really held it back. But,
To be clear, he would want a remake in the style, I think, of Rechain of Memories. Oh yeah, I forgot to point out, Rechain of Memories happened.
yeah. Which,
But he would want it to be, like, built from the ground up and
Well,
fixed,
that's a
a la Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy.
yeah, remake, not remaster.
Yeah.
Now but, okay, so Kingdom Hearts 2 was the most influential game, because I played the shit out of Kingdom Hearts 2. I was level, like, I had beaten the game multiple times. I was level 99, maxed everything, did everything, and I still just played it. That was what I would do. I had a shitty day at school, I'd play Kingdom Hearts. But I can't say it, like, affected me in any particular way. You could say that maybe it sparked my love for abstract story ideas. Like, you can maybe that, but, like, you would think that me playing Kingdom Hearts would... you would expect someone to play Kingdom Hearts nicer, you know, maybe more touchy-feely. That's not me.
Maybe more the power of friendship.
Yeah.
That is 100% what Soul is like on a daily basis.
Uh-huh.
Like, every day I see him or we speak,
My friends,
whips
my
out his-
power.
and he whips out his Keyblade and attempts to unlock my heart, which is clouded in darkness, and he keeps calling me Reiku for some reason. Which brings us back to our sponsor, Raycon Earbuds!
Raid insect repellent.
No, but would you like to know what's, like, the one thing that both these games we've brought up that have been, like, super influential to our childhoods both did?
Light and dark forms.
Not only did they do light and dark forms, you see, they started out as a perfectly nice and fine game,
Uh-huh.
and by the time the second game rolls around, it's dark and edgy. Just sheer power of edgelord right there.
When did Kingdom Hearts 2 come out? When did Kingdom Hearts 2 come out?
It was 2006, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's...
Either 2006 or 2008.
Was it? The original one came out in 1999, didn't it?
Okay, Poogle! When did Kingdom Hearts 2 release?
Kingdom Hearts II's initial release date is December 22nd, 2005.
2005.
Yeah, that's a really 2005 game.
Okay, Google. When did Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix release?
Its initial release date is December 22nd, 2005.
Okay, that's only gonna give me the initial release date for the vanilla version. But point is, it was still quite a wait between, like, 1999 and 2005.
I mean, yeah, but I played 2 first, so it didn't fucking matter.
True. Because you are an edgy boy. And speaking of sheer just edge, can we talk about Ratchet and Clank?
Yeah, sure.
Because that was a fun game. and I enjoy Ratchet.
Okay, I like the PS4 remake, and I didn't platinum it, but I got close.
Okay, so me personally with the Ratchet and Clank series, I love Ratchet and Clank from the depths of my poor, cold, and evil soul. Especially the PS2 games, because when I was a small boy back before I had my fallout with video games, I had Ratchet and Clank 2 Going Commando, Ratchet and Clank 3 Up Your Arsenal, and Ratchet Deadlocked. Now, I played the second one first, and I played the crap out of that game, and then my brother destroyed the disc. I found the first one at a yard sale, and only played a single level of it, but really enjoyed my time with it.
Is it a normal thing for kids to play games out of order?
Yeah, when you have a, brother who was forced to buy a game for the family instead of, NFL Sports 2000 whatever edition.
Well, I never had any siblings, but... Because I'm like, Kingdom Hearts 2... I played Devil May Cry 4 first.
Yeah, you filthy heathen. It's Devil May Cry 3 first, at your best.
Well, yeah,
Then 1, then 2, then 4, then 5.
Actually, I've still only played 4. Well, I've only beaten 4. I played 3.
Yeah, he's played the third one's Bloody Palace, and from what I remember, you did enjoy your time with it?
Yeah, but you can look at nostalgia as much as you want. I'm gonna call a spade, and the graphics don't look good.
Okay, the game looks like crap. I'm not gonna deny it. I don't think I ever have. However...
Okay, I would promise you
I will say this.
That if they remade 3 in, like, actual good graphics, I'd play it.
I will say this, though, for 3. For a PS2 graphics, trying to simulate realism, it does it better than GTA. Much better, I'm willing to say. And... What?
You said and. And,
just, Devil May Cry 3... It is a beautiful game when you're looking at the mechanics. Storytelling, I'm arguing that it's better than 4. There, I said it.
Okay, to counter that, the themes in 4 are better.
I beg to differ. Because, this is just me personally. I'm a sucker for rivals, and I'm even more of a sucker when those rivals are brothers and they're fighting with their ideologies at each other. I'm kind of a sucker for that. However, I will admit, Arkham is a terrible villain, and I don't think you would lose... Well, I mean, you would lose kind of a lot, but I think Arkham should have been more of a comics thing rather than a... Oh yeah, surprise, I'm the big bad that you should have been worried about this entire time! I think it would have been cooler if he was just like, oh yeah, so Virgil, I'm his underling, so I'm gonna fight you in place of him.
I meant more on like how in 4 there's a theme of, you know, the order or whatever. They think they're like holy and stuff, but they're actually the more demonic looking beings. And the themes that, just because, you know, because, was it Sanctus? Sanctus his name?
Yeah, that's the Pope in number 4 that Dante shoots in the face
I always,
in the first 5
I
minutes.
always had like a weakness in storytelling where, like, the bad guy looks to be the stereotypical good guy. I always had a weakness for that.
Okay, my weakness has always been more for good guy looking like the bad guy from the outsider's perspective.
Well, yeah, that's just the reverse, but yeah.
Yeah. But still, I will give 4 this. It has the best scene in, like, 20% of Devil May... It has the best scene in 75% of Devil May Cry. Because you're never gonna... For me, at least, you're not gonna top the scene in 5 where V is just reading poetry and it's like, He desires wax, not breeds pestilence. Though it
Mm-hmm.
is written. Because 4 has both the scenes of Dante first using Lucifer, as well as Dante reciting Shakespeare on stage with a Bugman. Back to Ratchet and Clank because we got a little distracted. Ratchet and Clank was one of my favorite childhood games, and I love it still to this day. The games... I think the second one holds up the best out of the first 3. The second one in Deadlock, I view personally as holding up the best.
Hmm.
Because you've played a little bit of Deadlock's multiplayer, but we still need to
I
do a
did.
co-op of that.
I did.
Yeah, like a sleepover, and it did
A
not end
slumber
well for me.
party. A slumber party. Ooh.
Yeah, we had a Swamba party, and as far as I remember, it was that one that you were like, yeah, I would view that as the best night of my life.
I doubt that. But...
It was the one where everyone was over at my house.
Oh.
You're like, yeah, that's probably the...
Okay, that was the best time I had at your house, and it's weird because I usually don't like to be around a lot of people, but I don't know, it just worked.
It was all good for a while, and then you couldn't stand William because of his rambling on Ruby.
Hmm.
But luckily it did turn
sucks.
around because, yeah, Ruby does kind of suck. The only good character was Crow, and then they ruined him by replacing Vic Mignogna.
Okay, so Ruby likes to take ideas from other anime, but not it does this. It takes it and doesn't understand why it's good, but implements it anyway. Takes a character flaw or trait, but they don't go all the way with it. Or B, takes multiple aspects of something, but these aspects will like not work with other ones. For example, they took the partner system from Soul Eater. That's pretty obvious. But then they also make it a 4-man team like Naruto. But the thing is, it makes sense for a 4-man team in Naruto. Because you got 3 new recruits and 1 experienced veteran who's teaching them. It doesn't make sense to have both a partner system and a leader of a 4-man team. Because what's the point in partners then?
Look, we aren't talking about Ruby, we're talking about the early 2000s, okay?
Well, when did Ruby come out?
I believe it was... Okay, Google, when did Ruby come out?
Here's some information from the web that might possibly help. Here's a summary from the website en.wikipedia.org. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire were released in Japan on November 21st, 2002. In North America
No,
on
Google.
March 19th,
Okay,
2003.
Google, stop.
Uh,
Okay, anyway, on to the next subject because we're getting off topic and I don't think I'm gonna get to talk about how beautiful Ratchet and Clank was.
yeah.
So, y'all like GTA?
No.
And I'm not talking GTA 5, I'm talking San Andreas,
Nope.
Vice City,
Nope.
GTA 3.
Nope.
Okay, well shut up and let me speak. So, these were games that I enjoyed after 5, but in the early 2000s they were like a huge deal, so I feel like I should probably bring them up. Especially San Andreas, which I didn't understand until I got a refurbished PS2, and the map would actually load without taking 30 minutes to an hour. Because I'm not kidding you, on my old taxidermied PS2, it would do that every single time you entered a loading screen.
Mm.
Yeah, I never finished the story on that. I actually finished it on the PS4, and it was a pretty good time.
Yeah.
I'd give it...
Okay, to me, when I was a kid, GTA was just, I had Vice City. But GTA was just that game that I never bought it, but I had it anyway. And I would fuck around with cheat codes on it. That's all.
Okay, for me, I never had any of the games because I wasn't allowed to play M-rated games because at the time they were big, I was
Loser.
a stick-in-the-mud loser that was more concerned with card games!
Yeah. I mean,
But I did get to enjoy the games. They were pretty fun when I eventually got around to playing them. However, GTA 3 has aged like sour milk. It is terrible. Don't go back and play it. If you want, like, a definitive original GTA experience, play Vice City. Because with 3, all you're gonna get is disappointment unless you want to roleplay as a thug in the early 2000s, and even then, you're a silent mute and you won't get off of the first island without dropping the game going, I hate this! The game is terrible.
I don't even like GTA 5, so...
What was that?
I don't like GTA 5.
Well, boys, I'm about to beat Soul to death with a book for not enjoying art. Yeet!
Ouch.
I mean, to each his own. You're allowed to not like GTA 5, even though it is the, I'm willing to say it's one of the best online games we have.
So, no, here's the thing. I like online, but I don't like the online, if that makes sense. I like playing it with friends. But
okay, you hate playing it alone or playing it with just the community.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes a bit more sense.
But here, I've always had, I guess, the unpopular opinion in games, because I don't like first-person shooters that much either.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of first-person shooters, but they are a bit of a guilty pleasure when I find one that intrigues me, such as Battlefield 1. I love Battlefield 1, and I appreciate it. I love Call of Duty World War II. I think it is an okay game.
That reminds me, PUBG's free next month.
I know.
Or this month.
Honestly...
Or the month this comes out.
Oh, spicy. That's gonna date the video like hell.
Well, earlier than...
I mean, I bought PUBG at launch with the...
like an idiot.
Yeah, I should have waited until I got burnt out on Battle Royales. I mean, I thought PUBG was okay, but it ran like absolute dog shite. And it still does.
So, if we go to the 2010s, do you think, like, the thing that defines, like, I guess the late...
I'm willing to say that defines part of the last arc, like, the closing chapter of the 2010s. I'm willing to say is what a Battle Royale would be.
Yeah.
The closing chapter. But this isn't about the 2010s, this is about the best decade we have ever had. The 2000s.
In the 2030s, we'll do another episode where we talk about the 2010s.
No, that's when we're going to talk about the 2020s. We'll
So,
eventually do another episode on the 2010s.
So, like, 2025, we talk about the 2010s?
No, we'll probably do that at some point within the next few months, I'd say.
When we don't have a good subject to talk about.
Yeah, I'm willing to say we'll do it before December.
See, here's the thing. Okay, do you watch a lot of podcasts?
Not at all.
I watch 2 podcasts regularly. Trash Taste and Yonaka Tea Time. And, okay, both of them have 3 people. But, okay, both of them have 3 people. But, they're very different. Yonaka Tea Time tends to stick to, like, one subject. But it still, like, goes on without feeling dragged out. While as Trash Taste, they sort of talk about... They try to talk about one subject, but they have a bunch of other stories. But it never feels like no one's, like, too off base or...
It feels like we're getting a little too off base.
Yeah, obviously.
And we're dragging this out for all it's worth.
Yeah. See, what do you think it'd be like to have a third, host? Or, a guest,
Well, I mean, if we had a, guest on, I know of the first one we would probably have, because I literally have already had him volunteer more than once. I think it could be good for us, but the recording schedule would be hellacious. Because he would have to be over at my house, so the audio quality is going to be even worse than what it is now.
Yeah, me and my USB microphone.
We might actually have to do it over Discord, which, do you remember how that happened last time?
Yeah, but I might be able to record it better, but I don't know if my internet could handle talking to two. Well, I guess it would just be one.
No, you would only be talking to one person, but there would be 2 people here.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see how that pans out if we ever get around to that. But you've completely ruined my nice, smooth, buttery segue I had to the next subject. We were talking about GTA, and I had a buttery smooth segue.
But then I didn't ruin it. Then I didn't ruin it.
Okay, so speaking of GTA, it's time to get on this melted, buttery smooth segue of video games cause violence. Because, as we all know, you cannot talk about GTA in the early 2000s without bringing this up.
Yep.
I have never seen anyone manage to do it without mentioning this at least a little bit in passing, so might as well dunk our heads down in there as though we're waterboarding each other. So, Soul, do you remember this campaign at all by Jack Thompson and everybody else of trying to get video games to stop being so violent, making our kids kill people? It's not our bad parenting.
Yes and no. So I didn't have internet till I was like 14. So I only heard about it like through like blogs and occasional YouTuber mentioning it. But even at that point, it was still already kind of a. It wasn't a big meme like it till like 2016, I think. At least from my memory. But
I mean, it got big around 2019 for me because that's the first time I saw that art of Adam and Eve's kids, like the first murder, except instead of a rock, he's holding a Sega Genesis.
So I sort of remember it, but I didn't remember the initial thing because when I was exposed to it, it was already sort of a meme.
Okay, so when I was exposed to it, this is one of the reasons I had a long period where I just did not play games at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I had very overbearing parents that basically...
Believed it?
Yeah, it was risky to let me watch 4Kids anime. Like, I couldn't even watch Ed, Edd and Eddy, for God's sakes.
Oh, well, Ed, Edd and Eddy's kind of violent, not gonna lie.
No, it was, they were like, oh, it's violent, it's disgusting, we don't want our kid ending up like that.
I mean, they're not exactly wrong.
I mean, looking back on it, they weren't wrong, but at the same time, come on, it's a literal kids' TV show. Like, I literally had to leave the room one time because they were playing it after school, and when the principal found me outside, I got in trouble. Because, oh, why did you walk out? Well, they're playing Ed, and Eddy, and, well, frankly, my parents, they don't let me watch it or anything, so I have to leave the room. Bad day, all in all. However, I was exposed to this as a kid, and it was a matter of... Now, personally, I think at best, video games will desensitize you to violence. Because when I was at least 13, before I started playing video games really big, I could not handle horror movies or the slightest splotch of blood. I would run away screaming, or like, oh no, I can't handle it. Now, as a teenager and an adult, I could play Prototype and surf on a literal blood typhoon and not think this is weird. But I'm not gonna go out and kill someone.
No. What age did you say when you ran away from like a drop of blood?
I was like 10.
Man, I was fucking 7. I literally stabbed myself with a knife and calmly walked into the bathroom and washed the blood off my hand.
Okay, to be fair, when I was 10, I was a literal giant baby. And...
Now you're a man, baby.
Yeah, now I am a man-child.
The,
No, but, it was a matter of I just couldn't handle it because I hadn't been that exposed to it. I was a very sheltered child. Plus, you watched the original cut of Dragon Ball Z as a kid. You watched a man's guts bleed out and were like, oh, that's cool.
Okay, well, you don't have to attack me like that. Okay,
Oh yeah, this is a call-out post on Soul Xenos.
Xenos
Get him cancelled.
Cancel me. I never.
It's just that.
I never
No.
began.
Okay. Editor Soul.
Uh-huh.
Just cut to that one scene of Scooby-Doo where the knight busts in and it's like, sorry, you've been cancelled.
Okay. Okay. The... Fuck.
It was video games cause violence.
Yeah, that's
We gotta somehow bring this back.
Okay, I don't know about being desensitized. I don't even know if that would be the case, because... Okay, I feel like it desensitizes you to the idea of violence. But when you actually enact violence, it's like nothing that you could prepare for. Like the sound of breaking someone's arm, it's like a lot, like, crunchier and, like, wet and loud. It's like nothing that you can actually prepare for till you do it.
You sound like you're speaking from experience.
Yeah, so. Don't worry about that.
Still, I think it is fair to say now that, yes, video games do in fact cause violence, and we need to cancel the video game industry as a whole.
Me playing Animal Crossing.
You filthy heathen, and it's promoting capitalism.
I mean, that's true.
And, you know, kidnapping of a small child to a weird furry convention.
You feel like that, yeah. Let's cancel Animal Crossing.
Cancel Animal Crossing. Cancel everything.
What do you think of cancel culture?
I fucking hate it so much.
Yeah.
Like, I know this is a meme, but we seriously do need to cancel culture because it has actually ruined several shows that I've watched in the past because the YouTuber themselves got canceled and were afraid to, like, speak out about anything.
Like, how the fuck do you... Okay, how the fuck do you get canceled?
Okay, basically, you say something on the internet, years and years and years will go by, then someone will bring that up just to spite you, and it will come out of nowhere. Like, for instance, for a while they attempted to cancel Ninja, because there was that meme that's like, the fuck you say to me, you little shit? When he was playing, like, World War Z or something like that. Or you'll say the N-word and something, they will bring it up years and years later, and you will constantly have mean comments made about you online to the point where you cannot post something, look up something, or anything without seeing something that will insult you or say you just need to stop existing.
Cool. So, regular internet is what I'm hearing.
Basically, but a lot more focused.
Is it weird?
And it's mainly because of Twitter, which is already kind of full of Nazis, so take that as you will.
Is it weird that wouldn't bother me?
Twitter. It probably wouldn't bother you. I know me personally, it would kind of get to.
Well, okay, I don't think I have any of that controversial opinions, but in the event that someone takes something I did years ago, I change like we're as human beings are constantly changing, so I cringe at things I did years ago, and I just deal with it. If it's at that point, a couple people saying mean things about me doesn't really matter.
No, it's not a couple people, it's everyone.
Same, it's just fucking comments. Like, it's not even in person.
I mean, once again, I do not like cancel culture. I personally think it's kind of stupid and immature and random. And it has... Like, I used to watch Leafy when I was a teenager because I was like...
fucking course you did.
Oh yeah, cool edgy boy.
Fucking course you did. You watch Onisan too?
No, it was just Leafy. And I watched one or two of his videos because it was like... I mean, don't get me wrong.
I thought his voice was annoying.
Don't get me wrong. His voice is annoying, and him having a lack of a chin, very annoying. But...
Should you be talking about chins, my dude?
Look, my 4 chins. I will donate him one of my chins. Okay, I'm a fat man. Leafy, you want a chin? I will give you one. Call me.
Okay, so...
No, but, like, in high school, I watched a few of his videos. I saw the appeal, but I personally didn't like him.
What?
And then he got canceled due to Content Cop, which, don't get me wrong, I thought it was funny. I thought it was a very well-crafted critique of some of his videos. And then he went all in on the chin thing, and that was like, don't get me wrong, you were doing good, iDubbbz. You almost had him, and then you did the chin bit, and you went whole hog. Don't get me wrong, it was a good bit, but it pretty much devalues everything you said in the video, considering how much of the runtime it takes up.
Isn't Leafy still here?
Oh no, he came back after the iDubbbz simp thing, because he wasn't here for a long time, because
I know
I got to thinking, and I checked his channel, and he was gone for over, like, a year, I think.
I know, I got a recommendation from YouTube. It was like, Leafy video with Nux Taku or something.
Oh yeah, Nux Taku got Leafy banned again, I think. I honestly haven't checked it.
No, I haven't either.
But anyway...
Is Nux Taku the Leafy of anime community?
Yeah, I'm willing to say he's the Leafy of anime, but he's slightly less annoying, I would say.
Okay.
Because I can stand Nux Taku, because he's... Nux is at least self-aware. I will give him that. He is self-aware. But moving on from anime and everything else, because we need to get back on topic, dear God.
Diverting topics is my one true talent in life.
Soul is divergent. There, I said it, BAM! Bringing it full circle.
Are you?
Yes. So, what was school like in the early 2000s for you, personally?
Early 2000s? Fuck. Okay, I went to 3 schools in the span of the early 2000s.
He changed schools more than I changed deodorant.
No, okay, wait. And... actually, I think I went to 4 schools. In 2000... well, I'm not going to say the actual schools, but... it depends which school. I was bullied a lot more in my first 2 schools. You know, fat kid, big lips, club feet, you know, goes on. My 3rd school was pretty fine. I mean, there was still, like, you know, that one asshole who was really into, like, Fox and Monster, if you know what I'm talking about. But other than that...
what is Fox? Okay, do I want to know?
Fox is like a clothing thing, I think.
So he was a furry.
If I knew what furry was back then, I totally would have called him that. But anyway,
even I knew what it was back then. Jesus.
I didn't have internet.
I was the sheltered one.
I didn't have internet till I was 14.
Neither did I.
Well, how the fuck would I know what a furry is then?
Your parents?
Why the fuck would they know what a furry is?
Mine did!
Okay.
I was always like, oh, what's with those weird teenagers playing in the park acting like animals? Don't approach them, Joshy. You'll get infected. Mom, but I want to play with them. No! You can't even have a dog. You think we'll trust you with a person? Nuh-uh.
When you're a furry and your parents come home and ask why the dog's walking weird, I don't know.
Could be anything.
But I don't know. I think it was mostly like it's like that period that I don't have very good memory that you know a lot of cringy shit you did, but you're kind of thankful that your memory isn't that good, so you don't remember any of it.
Okay, with me, I remember most of the cringy stuff I did in exquisitely vivid detail. Like, I'm talking these things are rendered in my head like Picasso paintings.
I remember
and
some
I'm not
things.
going to talk about them for that reason.
I remember some things, but I had basically the same class, 3rd through 5th grade. It was the exact same people. And so all those years just blend together. And so I don't have much in that time period that was cringy.
Okay. So, moving on, because we need to wrap this up before we get over, like, 3 hours of footage.
No, it's got to be a 5-hour podcast.
Okay, you remember smartboards,
Didn't we talk about
or
this earlier?
as my school called them, Prometheus boards.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about this earlier?
We briefly touched upon it, but I tried to get you off topic because this was going to be a subject for later down the road.
Oh, sorry.
So-
I don't read your documents.
I mean, of course you didn't, because I didn't want you to. I'm pretty sure I didn't even share this with you.
Well,
Oh no, I did add you in this. You have access.
I know. I wrote something down on it, but I didn't read that much of it. I just sort of skimmed it. I'm like, this sounds fine.
Okay, basically, I was not around when the smartboard was big. However, I was around when we first got Prometheus boards, which are the boards with the little pins.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, the first 3 years of middle school, no one knew how the fuck to use them.
It didn't look that hard.
No, like, no one knew how to use the pin, because they would always click the button, and you weren't supposed to click the button or something like that.
Hmm.
Because the button was meant for, like, calibration or something, and no one could figure out how to write on them, so they just had to control it from their computers. And every time you needed to call someone down to, like, get it fixed,
Mm-hmm.
it would be like calling maintenance at where I used to work at. They would take fucking forever.
I
They
remember.
would never show up.
In one of my classes in middle school, they had like everyone sign, the Prometheus board, their name, and they were amazed how neatly I could write on a Prometheus board.
Personally, my writing was even worse on a Prometheus board than it is in person.
Hmm.
And that is saying something, because my writing looks like a serial killer stitched in together. Which brings back terrifying memories from my childhood, but we're not going to touch on those. Instead, we're going to move on to a even better subject.
Hmm.
Okay, so what do you remember being one of the first banned items at your school?
Which school?
Like, just all of them. What were a couple of items that kids always had on them that suddenly got banned?
Beyblades.
Beyblade.
I might have.
My mom beats me with a whip.
Same. But I may have may have kickstarted the process of banning the Beyblades. That may have been on me.
Okay, and how did you do this?
Well,
Wait, does it involve metal fusion?
yes.
Continue, I got to hear this.
So, do you know how much do you know about the Beyblade launchers?
None at all, except they were Beyblade launchers meant for Beyblades.
So,
They were meant for your bays, and that way you could blade them.
the normal launchers are like
Also, Beyblade Moses. Never forget.
yeah. Okay, the normal Beyblade launchers are like kind of small, enough to put your hand in, and a rip cord. Right? That's the normal
Right.
ones. I had one that was a string pull and had a handle. See where this is going?
Yes.
Basic-
Continue.
I had two of them actually. Basically, me and my cousin, I actually had an arena. I had a portable arena, and we played in the cafeteria. And because of these string launchers, we may have spun them 3 times faster than they're supposed to go. And when you have two things that are spinning really fucking fast, to the point where it's like whipping up wind around them, and they hit each other, and they're made of metal. They kind of hit each other, hit the elastic arena, and bounce out. Now, this is a crowded cafeteria, so what do you think happens?
I'm thinking metal went flying everywhere, and someone got hit.
Yeah.
Poor kid's arm must have gotten hurt, or his leg, or whatever part of it.
It didn't
got
hurt.
hit.
It didn't hit him that hard, but if it hit maybe something important, maybe. but it just like his like backpack. But still, the idea was, yeah, that could have like hit someone in the skull, and it probably would have hurt. So yeah, I may have got Beyblades banned.
Look at Soul, crushing kids' dreams everywhere he goes.
There was only like 3 kids who liked Beyblade, and that was one of them. So
Okay, for me, some of the first things that got banned in my school when I was a kid,
mm-hmm.
The first thing I can remember getting banned was skateboarding shoes.
Oh yeah.
Now, these were like the shoes with the little wheel in the back. I always wanted a pair, but never got them.
Same.
And I found out like the day after seeing the commercial and thinking, hey, those are really sick. I kind of want a pair. And then the principal was like, yeah, we've banned those, so can't have them. No. So, that happened, I guess.
Mm.
And after that, I remember the next thing that my school banned. They banned Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Okay.
I want you to take one guess as to why they banned these.
This Japanese literature in my American schools.
Close, but no. Keep going. You'll eventually hit the nail on the head.
Devil worship.
Yes! You know, not the math thing. They were like, oh, it's full of devil worship and Satanist. They're trying to summon Satan with these cardboard cards.
Huh. I actually
and
got
they
that.
genuinely believed this.
You wanna know how I got that?
How?
I'm like, what's some arguments about Yu-Gi-Oh that I've heard that would be the most outlandish thing to say? That was how I got that.
I'm gonna be honest. Even when I brought it to the principal, because I attempted to negotiate with him as, trust me, these aren't what they're saying
Trust
they
me,
are.
Mr. Principal, these aren't devil worship cards, they just have demonic-looking things on them. And, well... yeah, that's what I imagine.
I mean, we could always bring cards that don't look demonic. That was like my main argument. And that did not work.
Yeah.
For God's sakes, I was able to get them to unban Minecraft, and that's why I thought I could do this.
Damn. Leading the charge.
No, and you want to know how I did it?
How?
Because they were using the same argument. I was like, well, I mean, there's a free classic edition that doesn't have any of that.
Is there?
Yeah. It straight up exists, and it's literally just, like, first edition basic creative mode from what I remember. Yeah. And it's like Minecraft, but completely spayed and neutered.
Hmm. Dope.
Like, you can't even blow stuff up with flint and steel. But there is TNT. So yeah, I was able to do that as a kid, and that was something I was really proud of for, like, years and years. And then there was the third thing, which is something I literally had no interest in, but found out about. Do you remember silly bands?
Silly... what?
Do you remember silly bands?
No, what's that?
Like little bracelets you could wear around your wrist, and you would take them off, and it would be like an animal or a spaceship or something, but, like, as like a rubber band.
No.
Oh, well, look them up and put up a picture in the background, because I'm sure, like, once you see them, you'll know what they are.
What?
But I remember them getting banned because people were flicking them at each other.
Ah.
And I remember my sister was, like, super heartbroken over this, and I still to this day do not understand why.
I just started wearing wristbands till I was 13.
I mean, I know a bunch of kids that wore them. I think I had, like, 1 or 2 because I thought they looked kind of neat, and it was like a spaceship and a skateboard.
I have 3 wristbands.
Because I was really into space as a kid.
I have 3 wristbands, and I never take them off.
Yep. That is a thing that you do not do. You do not remove your wristbands.
Yep. Back off,
But-
thought.
Be gone, thought. Don't touch my wristbands. No! I will
Trying-
pimp slap a hoe with these wristbands.
Trying to touch my magic wand. I'm gonna be a wizard.
Okay, and that is just about everything I have.
Is it?
I mean, I had one more, but it was merely slang, and it was like the fall of both the words tubular and licious that I thought you would have some comment on, but I realize now you more than likely don't.
Yeah, no one fucking said that.
Okay, as a kid, I constantly heard licious, and I did hear in movies people would constantly say, "That's tubular, dude!"
I heard it in movies, but I never heard an actual person say that until it was like a meme.
You mean you never heard a person actually say it till I said it? That's right, no need to thank me. I speak for the trees, and for some godforsaken reason, the trees are speaking in Vietnamese.
Is it like slang? Well, you say it's tight now, right? That's your thing?
No, my thing is, it has to do with the pitch meetings from, like, I think his name's Ryan George, but they have a constant catchphrase going where the guy who's pitching the movie will say something, the guy who's getting the pitch is gonna be like, insert name of whatever that was is tights.
Okay, but the what's like slang that like you started to use like ironically and then you use it unironically?
Well, bro started out unironically.
Yo,
Dude started out unironically.
Bro.
Brosif.
Bro.
Then there was broske.
Okay, would you think there's any? It doesn't have to be slang, because I feel like we mostly okay when we talk to someone else, like the way our mannerisms kind of change. Would you think speaking to me has changed your manner of speaking?
So basically, I would say your speaking with you has altered my speaking mannerisms, as I am a lot more blunt with what I say now, and I don't sugarcoat my words as much as I used to.
Would you say that's negative or positive?
I think it is positive, but I think most people think it is a negative effect.
Yeah. Most people don't like when I just say what's on my mind, because it's probably not good.
I mean, most people don't care when I say what's on my mind, because I'm meant to be seen, not heard.
Right.
Also, my depression memes have, I would say, have spiked since I've started talking to you.
Remember when I said that, like, you remind me of a younger me, and you were like, that doesn't make any fucking sense?
Yeah.
Well,
Now have I finally gone around to...
you're not there yet. You're not there yet. But, you know. I'm just saying. Speaking of you...
I'm almost there, guys! Pretty soon I'll be just like Soul. Won't
Yeah.
that be fun?
Yeah. I got an idea for that. Don't worry. Now the... Fuck. Okay, speaking to you, I don't think it's changed, like... Okay, maybe I say dude more often. Would you think so?
Yeah, I'm willing to say you would say dude more often.
Maybe, speaking to you, I put more, like... Since I started speaking to you, I put more, like, inflection? Well, more emotion in my tone.
Okay, yeah, that is something I have noticed. You're much more emotional now than you were when we first spoke.
I'm so sensitive. Oh.
Yeah, pretty soon you're gonna be like, oh no, I can't not speak to Josh, he's the only thing that keeps me stable.
No.
It's coming, you know it's coming.
No. You're not what keeps me stable.
You're gonna be like, oh my god, he's my rock, and I can't live without him.
No.
And your humor's also gonna get a lot more, what's the word? Violent.
No.
Just wait and see. You'll be just like Blue in no time, and then
No,
you'll
no,
eventually evolve into me.
No, no, no. Not going anywhere near that. No.
Oh, yes, you are. You're rapidly approaching that field with being as open as you are.
Yeah, but I'm not an idiot, so...
You say that now.
I'm an INTP, so I'm obviously a genius.
Isn't that part of the Myers-Briggs test?
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Of course.
Shut up.
That's about as useful as pseudoscience.
That is a pseudoscience.
Exactly, that's why it's as useful as pseudoscience.
So it's not useful, but it's entertaining.
Yep!
Oh, okay. Who's the person disrupting the topic now, Josh?
That's you, because we're just waiting to see how long you can drag this out for.
No.
Yes.
Okay, well, I was saying, you're not what keeps me together.
I know I'm not. I was making a joke on how I'm like the only person to talk to.
Okay, but do you know what actually keeps me together?
Graham?
No, fuck no.
Persona.
Yes, the one game I've played.
Animes.
No.
The Dark Soul.
No?
Those people that talk to you in your head that keep telling you to murder your family, murder your family. Or do you not hear those people? Is that just a me thing?
I evicted them.
I see. Evicting darkness is tight.
I'm just saying, they're gonna take up residence in my head. They better fucking pay for it.
Yeah, pay my rent, schizophrenic images.
Okay, what keeps me together is literally just pure fucking spite.
Ah, yes. The exact reason I'm in college. Spite.
Spite is tight.
Damn it! He was right there! Ah! Okay, but, with that, I think that concludes the podcast.
High note of the podcast, nothing beats it. Really just skip to the end to hear that. That's all you need to hear.
Yeah, because skipping to the end is tight.
Okay, do we have any closing words? I never officially made an outro. Actually, I never made an intro. I mean intro animation, but you know what I mean.
Well, these are my closing words.
Uh-huh.
Closing words are tight. There, that's it. I've killed the joke.
Okay.
I've killed it dead. Kind of like Batman's parents.
Okay. Yeah, that's the end. Bye.
Bye.
Watch my other videos.
No.
Oh, go watch Jesh TV.
Oh yeah, I'm here. Woo! I should have some new videos coming down the pipe soon.
Doubt it.
Hopefully.
Yep.
There will be some Flash animations coming. And by Flash animations, I mean cardboard cutouts as memes.
Mm.
There will be like one of
Memes are-
those followed by a video. But
Memes are tight.
I said the meme was dead!
Memes never...
Dead things are tight.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa.
Okay, correction. Necrophilia's tight.
Is it?
I mean, probably not. They're dead bodies, you sicko.
I'm the sicko.
Yes, it's obviously you, because if it was me, that clearly wouldn't be the problem.
Makes
Now,
sense.
for your in card, you know